So with the Backrooms movie coming out later next month and Chiwetel Ejiofor being attached to it, I started thinking about something. There was actually another horror project he was supposed to do based on a video game, and it just disappeared. And the crazy part is, it might have been one of the most interesting horror adaptations we never got. So if you've never heard of The Suffering, it's this horror game from 2004 set inside a prison. You play as this guy named Torque, who's on death row for supposedly killing his family. And the game does something really interesting. It never fully tells you if he actually did it or not. You're just stuck with that question the whole time. And then everything around you turns into chaos. The prison basically becomes the nightmare. Monsters everywhere, but not just random monsters. The game puts a unique spin on it, and each one is tied to some kind of execution method. So you've got creatures that feel like they represent things like punishment, guilt, and death. And the whole game has this underlying vibe of, are you being punished or do you deserve it? Which is honestly way deeper than most horror games from that time. Now here's where it gets wild. Back when this movie was first being talked about in the mid-2000s, video game adaptations were actually starting to take off. You had things like Resident Evil doing numbers, Silent Hill was on the way, so Hollywood was clearly looking at games and thinking, okay, there's something here. And right in the middle of that wave, The Suffering gets picked up for a film. But what makes this one different is the tone. Because based on the game and the team they were putting together, this wasn't shaping up to be some action-heavy adaptation. This had the potential to be something way more surreal, way more psychological. Like something closer to Jacob's Ladder, or The Lighthouse, or even Silent Hill in terms of atmosphere. And they had Chiwetel Ejiofor lined up to play Torque. Now, up until that point, Ejiofor didn't have any well-known roles. However, considering the type of actor he has turned out to be, I think he would have been the perfect casting for this film. Aside from casting, it gets even better. They were also bringing in Stan Winston for creature design, which is the right choice if you think about it. Winston is the same guy behind stuff like Jurassic Park and Terminator. Now imagine that level of practical effects but applied to The Suffering's monsters, which are already super disturbing. We're talking twisted bodies, metal fused into flesh, blades, restraints, execution imagery. But unfortunately, the movie just never came out. It was no big announcement, no official cancellation, it just faded away. But if you look into it, there are a couple of reasons why. For one, it seems like the project never really had a clear direction. Different people were attached to write and direct it, and nothing really stuck. And that's usually not a good sign, but the biggest thing, the company behind the game, Midway Games, went bankrupt in 2009. And once that happens, projects like this just don't survive. Rights got messy, funding disappeared, and everything just got shelved. But honestly, I don't even think the movie failed because of development issues. I think it just came out at the wrong time. Back then, even though game adaptations were picking up, this specific kind of horror, this slower, more psychological, more ambiguous style, that wasn't really what studios were leaning into yet. But now, things are different. We've got movies like The Backrooms coming out. We're getting a brand new Resident Evil reboot directed by Zach Cregger, and that alone should tell you something. Studios are starting to trust directors with a distinct horror voice, instead of just turning these into action movies. So it kind of makes you think, if The Suffering was being made today, would it actually work? Honestly, I think it would. Probably even better than it would have back then. But considering how far survival horror has come since the early 2000s, it's hard seeing a movie made off of a game that has been largely forgotten. Unless the company remasters or reboots the game, I really don't think we'll come even close to getting a feature-length film. So yeah, The Suffering isn't just some canceled movie. It's one of those what-if projects that feels like it showed up too early and just never got its shot. Who knows? Now might actually be the perfect time for something like it. The real question is, would you want to see it come back, or is it better left as the horror movie we never got? If you want to see me cover more forgotten video games, don't forget to subscribe and check out some of my latest film reviews while you're here. Remember, keep believing, keep breathing, and as always, keep pushing peace. I'll catch you guys in the next one.